Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Go to the church, though.
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now, do you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
Hi, Rogers. Can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk. The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
The Mighty Drive Show, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard today's 7th day of Tuesday, a cold one indeed for those people who are staying around Makindye Division. It's been cold and it's still a bit drizzling. So if I were you, I would carry myself a jacket or a jumper or an umbrella, something to try to aid on the rain that is coming. But of course we're celebrating it. It has been a wave of heat all over the country. Many people have been grappling with dry spells, but of course it's always a blessing when it rains. My name is Matthew Karohanga, and of course I'm welcoming you to this edition of the Mighty Drive Show. The Mighty Drive Show airs every Monday to Friday, starting from 8 to 10 a.m. We're always having a conversation with you. We don't just talk about anything, we talk about constructive issues, things that we think will be able to change the direction of where Uganda is going, and of course we a better future for us and the generation that is yet to come. Today, I am privileged and honored to be joined by three guests. One will be joining us later. Of course, we're starting with Katie Law. Katie Law is the Chief Financial Officer at the American Leadership Class. She'll be talking about herself. She has a rich biography. Of course, you'll be able to hear in what she's doing, some of her interests, and of course, how she's been able to get to where she is today. And of course, I'm joined by Mr. Katava Isaac. Isaac is the Deputy Director of Administration at the American Leadership Class. He also works with Miss Law. And of course, today we're going to be talking about the American Leadership Class itself. What is the vision? What does this actually mean for Ugandans who are out there who do not know what these guys are doing, and of course how they're doing it, and of course what is the vision behind? And we shall be delving into some of the beneficiaries and all other things. So what you can do is to feel free and send us your questions or your inquiries or queries. And remarks, I'll be able to read them subsequently as we continue the program. As I've told you, in the second hour and final hour of the show, we shall be joined by Miss Brooklyn James. She is the Assistant Chief Finance Officer at the American Leadership Class. She'll be joining us later on to also paint a picture of what is happening there. We're streaming live at Digital TV, that is on Facebook, at the Alternative Uganda, still on Facebook. You can just send in some of your messages, your comments, and I'll be reading them subsequently. Before we start off with the program, we have a book here. It's called Cancer Ate My Bones, God Preserved My Spirit. Now, this book was written by a lady called Luzia Orikiriza Mariho. She talks about her battle with cancer and, of course, how she was able to beat cancer more than 4 times. It's not something that you always find is every day. So you can grab your copy right here at Digital TV at only 60,000 Uganda shillings. Or we can have it delivered to you in Kampala free of charge at that same price. But in case you want it delivered outside Kampala, you'll be able to just pay some small amount of money and it will be able to come to you. So feel free to grab yourself this copy. It's a very, very interesting read. I've had it and I know it will inspire many of you people. Allow me to delve into the conversation of today. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome first Miss Katie Law, who is the Chief Financial Officer at the American Leadership Class. Good morning and you're welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad I get to be here today with all of you and in this beautiful forum. And what a lovely building this is.
Oh, thank you so much.
Of course.
We're trying. How are you? How is your life?
Oh, my life is fantastic. I'm in Uganda.
Of course, you'll have to have fun. Uganda is a part of Africa, so they call it.
Oh, and I would agree. Yeah. Although, to be fair, I have yet to see the rest of Africa, so...
Well, you've seen us, we are a symbol, we are the epitome of success of Africa.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you so much, Katie. Mr. Isaac Katava, welcome to the mic today.
Thank you so much, Edgar, for having me. Good morning.
You get a connect with Uganda, go at least to change your mind also do kubudinda.
Sobola okuba obudinda. Neyanza nnyo mwami Edgar olw'okutukyazaako wano ku Digital TV. Nze n'omusomesa wange ate nga director waffe Mrs. Katie Law okuva mu ssaza lya Utah mu United States of America. Twesiimye nnyo okubeera wano.
Katie, I'll start with you. Who is Katie Law for people who do not know you were to see you for the very first time? Who is Katie Law?
Well, first and foremost, Katie Law is a mother. I have 4 children. They are absolutely amazing. And I need Uganda to know how special it must be that I am here instead of with them. They are very, very important to me, and I miss them dearly. But I could not be here today without them. So I hope that we can all appreciate the sacrifice they are making in having me here. I also have a wonderful boyfriend who is with them and taking care of them and being absolutely marvelous. And I'm so very grateful for him and everything that he has done to support me in my leadership education, as well as promoting other leadership skills to those around me. I am a student, I am a teacher, I am a lecturer. Most of my titles are things like friend, things like companion, confidant, because I spend most of my time, instead of looking for titles, helping the person in front of me. Because if I can help, I will. And you'll find that that keeps coming up in these talks. If I can help, I will. But that is an important thing to understand, because there are times when I can't. There are times when despite my spirit to do it, I cannot. And this is difficult, and I have to be okay with that, or else it will cause me to stop trying. It will overwhelm. And so when those moments come, I take a moment and I understand that I can't help this situation. But that doesn't mean that I can't be in a position to help the next time. So this is how I live my life. I keep trying to find new and better ways to help people. And as I meet people, as I learn, as I grow, I find out how they need to be needed, what they actually need. So often we see somebody and we say we see somebody who is begging or who doesn't have any food. And we think, oh, we should get them food, yes? But maybe that is not what this person actually needs. What we must do is go to that person and speak with them. We must talk with them and say, what is it you actually need? What is it that would actually pull you up? What is it that you as a person, you, a single person, need so that I can support you? And oftentimes it's something like education. Oftentimes it's leadership. Oftentimes it's things like that. But I've gone off track a little bit.
I was asking, because you mentioned it in your biography, you're a humanitarian.
Yes.
You're a psychologist, right? And philosophist. Okay, some of us may not know that. Okay. And you majored in conflict resolution. What really drives all these endeavors that you do?
It's a very simple answer, and you might be disappointed because it's so obvious. It's love. Just love. I have a great love for humans. And as I study, and I study biology, philosophy, and psychology, as I study biology, I learned how a mind works. I learned how neurons fired. I learned how dendrites collect information. I learned how our mind works. Then I learned psychology. That is what we are thinking. What is going on in our minds? What is making those synapses fire? What is making our brains work the way that they do? And then philosophy. This is why. Why does our brain work? Why do we act the way we do? And so it is a holistic approach to truly understand another human and to show and to be able to have a really good understanding of why I love them so much. It is so easy to love. It is so much harder to hate. And so I just lean into it.
Let me go to you, Isaac.
Yes,
Isaac,
please.
Just for the benefit of someone who doesn't know who you are, what do you do? Who is Isaac?
Isaac Atava is the firstborn of 7, born in Mityana. Professionally, I'm a teacher in secondary school, but I'm also pursuing my postgraduate, and I'm specializing in economics of education. Out of that, a love of reading that takes me into writing books for children. I happen to work with some organization which does writing and publication for children to promote literacy in primary schools in Uganda.
Okay.
Again, I'll add that I'm a leader, and for the cause that brings us here, I'm a deputy director administration at the American Leadership Academy in Uganda. So I'm glad that I work with my teacher and a team of very strong individuals here and in the US to deliver and make sure that we streamline our leadership from the ground levels in our communities to make sure that we can put our nation where it deserves to be in leadership.
Okay, thank you so much, Isaac. You paint a very good picture. How long have you been working with the American Leadership Academy, and how has it been?
I've been working with the American Leadership Academy since I was a student there, because I happened to be one of the pioneer students that was 2021, soon after the COVID pandemic, because this program was introduced after COVID. So I was blessed to be one of the first students in the first cohort. And I want to say I'm glad to be part of the American Leadership Academy because I cannot exploit the benefits. There are so many as we shall be discussing.
Okay. Before we delve into the benefits, let me come back to you, Ms. Lowe. The American Leadership Academy, some of them will call it the American Leadership Class. What does that entail? What does this mean?
Oh, this is an excellent question. You are very good at what you do. You're welcome. So the American Leadership Academy, or class, we kind of go with both, depending on what you're comfortable with. It is an online course for those who wish to better themselves and receive a leadership certificate. What this will do is help show that you are capable of completing a course that is difficult, and it might give you the opportunity to perhaps try for a job that is better or will pay better than what you have now. It is an excellent program. It is free of charge for the most part. Sometimes we have some fees here and there so that we can keep things moving, but we do try to keep it as a great option for as many people as possible. Now, if you do join American Leadership Academy, which we would love to have you, you will be taught by doctors and specialists from their field in all sorts of different skills, such as there's an accounting portion that'll help teach you how to balance a checkbook, teach you how to manage your money, and teach you how to know what your rights are with your money. Then there is also like a basic business course that will help teach you how to write a business proposal, or teach you the importance of the rules in business, things like being on time, things like, and why. Because oftentimes you are told to do something without being told why. And this is not teaching, this is telling. And at American Leadership Class, we always try to teach and not tell. So we also teach things, my favorite things, the things that I teach, are things like conflict resolution, and I teach that across a wide berth, everything from conflict resolution in your home, because leadership does not mean that you are out there being a politician. Leadership means that you are leading where you are. Leadership is Edgar, because he is leading from where he is. Leadership is me, leading where I am. And leadership is Isaac. It is also a mother. It is also a father. It is also sons and daughters. It is wherever you are, you can be a leader. And this is the thing that we are trying to instill most in these Ugandan people. I was going to say youth, but often our students are older than I am. So. And they are marvelous. We have had the pleasure to have so many amazing students, and I'd like to say hi to all of them because I am just so excited that not only that they were in my life for so long, but that I get to see them while I'm here. It's been absolutely wonderful.
But are there some reasons why it happened after COVID-19?
Oh, yes.
Because it stems up in 2021. What was the unique ability about your decision to say, let's start it after the pandemic?
This is another great question. Well done. So when the COVID hit, it hit the world horribly. Everybody was impacted by different ways, in ways they never would have expected, in ways that tried them and showed their character. Because not only did COVID cause death and pandemic, but it also caused a lot of confusion among leaders, and it caused a lot of confusion among people. It forced us to look inside ourselves and see what was truly important. And so our founder, David Sinjinja, and Miriam Burka, thank you, Isaac, and Tim Shapansky, they got together and they decided that clearly what the world needed in that time was leadership. What it needed was somebody to say, this is what we are doing, let's do it. It needed that coming together of communities and countries so that we could get through it together. And only when we did that did we get on top of it. Leadership is vital to the world. And so when they realized this, when our founders realized this, they decided to make lemonade out of lemons, which is a common phrase that we say. I don't know, do you do lemonade here?
Yeah.
Okay, good. But,
Ask lemons and you'll make lemonade.
well, a little sugar too, or else it's going to be quite sour. But they decided to take what they had learned from the pandemic and create an online school for the thing that they saw was needed most, leadership. And they did a marvelous job. I joined about 6 months later when I met David at the university. He's a professor at Utah Valley University. And I was actually being a student there. And I stopped by his office because they were having donuts and coffee. And I was running from one exam to another, and I hadn't had breakfast yet. So I jumped in, and I grabbed some donuts and coffee, and I sat next to David Sinjinja, and immediately we connected. And it was this beautiful, and one of those moments where you just know you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And he asked me to come and just teach one class. Then it became 2 classes. And soon it was 10 classes, and now and then before long, I became the chief financial officer. Yeah, it was.
And now you're the money guy.
Which it happens that easily.
Okay.
If I may say,
Yes, please.
most people don't understand that just saying yes to something that might be a little difficult or that you don't understand but are willing to try, it can take you places you will never believe.
Yeah.
My children often say, "But mommy, why you? Why is it you that is going on TV? Why is it you that's going and teaching these people?" Not to say that I can't, because they're supportive and loving. They just cannot understand how somebody, a mom from Utah, became this leader, this person who is so capable. And I've always been capable, but this person who not only can be their mother, but can also be a powerful leader. Yeah.
I think, you know, let me have Mr. Katava.
Yes, please.
You have gone through the program. You said you're one in the pioneer class.
Yeah.
How different is what they're teaching from what we study, the basic? I think you've been to Ugandan University.
Very
So
good.
someone would say there is basic accounting, there is conflict resolution, there is basic business. How different and how unique is this particular program for Ugandan out there?
Thank you so much, Edgar. I've studied in Uganda for some good years now, but I want to tell you the style of teaching in the American Leadership Academy is quite different, starting with the pedagogy. This is an online class, but I want to tell you the way teaching is handled is quite different. You may not even compare it with the online classes we do here, because you know how our people have used the technology in education is not on the same level with how our friends out there are using technology. So these are lessons which are delivered in the most smartest way, if I can tell you. They are very interactive and they're on point. These are classes where every student has got an opportunity to share something. We normally have online classes here where somebody can be in his place or her place and then delivers a class, not minding whether people are attending, they are listening or active, like something. But
Some people are just
yeah,
online there.
this is American standard. They make sure that every student is catered for, and every student gets out of the classroom virtual, having said something and contributed ideas to what is being discussed. And this being a leadership training, the professors make sure that even if somebody is shy, by the time each class is finished, they are bold enough to say something and discuss constructive ideas about the topics. And the unique part about that is the numbers are not so big always, because they are divided. We normally do what we call breakout rooms, especially on Zoom. And this is an opportunity students get to come together in small groups. Assuming a class has about 50, there is always 30 minutes for students to come together in groups of 5 or less than that. And each group has been assigned a facilitator. If Professor Tim Sizpensik is teaching in the main class, you'll then find that in the subgroups we have Teacher Kate is there, Professor David Sejinja is there, Teacher Mimi Bukirwa is there, Dr. Brett Boyer is there. So to make sure that the content is redigested still within the class and making sure that every student is engaged. So that is something unique that comes with the rival of classes in the American Leadership Academy, which is not so common here. We are trying to do that, especially with the competence-based curriculum. I told you I'm a teacher, so this is something we are trying to adopt, and I think it will work.
Okay. You're throwing in big terms, competent-based. What do you mean by that? Please break it down for us.
Competence-based. This is a system of education which focuses on building a skilled learner. For instance, somebody is doing, like this, what we're doing here. The education is aimed at making sure that you have the skills rather than having the knowledge about something.
Okay.
If you have the knowledge, you should also be having the skills, the competencies to enable you to do what you train.
When you realize most of the young people we have who are students,
Yeah.
they have the knowledge, they do not have necessarily the skill. You can find a journalist who cannot write a news story, but they have a bachelor's.
They have a bachelor's, yeah.
In journalism. Maybe my other question to you is that we are all leaders from different spheres or different fields. For example, I'm a fact checker and investigative journalist.
Yeah.
So I may say I am a leader in verifying information and
Very
in the media.
good.
But then there is a biologist, there is an economist who is a leader. So how does this curricula apply to all of us in a holistic manner? How do we all fit in there? The journalist, the scientist, every leader or in their caliber, how do we fit in this particular, to come at the same table and speak the same?
Thank you so much, Edgar, for that question again. It all points back to the uniqueness of this course as discussed by Teacher Katie. The American Leadership Academy designed a course which is all round to support leaders of different backgrounds, different levels of education, different professions to do the best of themselves in leadership through the different units embedded. So they look at the societies where we serve, they look at the organizations where we serve, and look out for the best that can be taught to improve service delivery. For instance, there are some simple things we have in the community, but people may not focus on them, but they are leaders. We may talk about speech. Somebody can be a leader, but this leader cannot speak.
Yes.
We can talk about writing. We have writing classes in the American Leadership Academy. Our people here, our leaders here, not all of them, but some especially at the low levels, people have meetings, but they don't write. They don't take minutes. So all those things are covered. You may not think about them in a broader picture, but they really affect the way we serve. So how does the different people from different professions and backgrounds come in? This is what all of us need. People need to be taught how to write because it's really very important in leadership. They will be taught how to speak because it's very important. How will you deliver information? That is communication. They are taught management, and that one in particular, I'll talk about events. We have a very interesting topic, or the course unit taught, it's called event management. It's something very interesting because some of us have had an opportunity to organize international conferences, organize workshops. These are things that may escape an eye of so many people, but they are really important. So this is a leader that is given an opportunity to have all those skills and actually practice them practically. For instance, you may be a leader in journalism, but you have not organized a workshop before. So this is an opportunity. You'll be interacting with professors and experts in those fields to make sure that they give you a bit of everything that can make you a complete leader. You can speak, you can write, you can coordinate, you can everything.
Okay. You remind me of one of our leaders who cannot make a speech. Many people want him to be president, but he's always fidgeting with papers. We're wondering, can you just speak? Maybe the American leadership class will be of a great importance. Let me come to you, Ms. Lowe. Before you even delve into the academic sessions that you have, how do these people get to come to join you guys? How do they come to be part of the leadership class? Do they apply? Are they handpicked? What is the process for those who would love to come and join the leadership class?
Well, it's odd that you're asking me that question as the director of admissions is right there.
Yeah.
But may I just briefly touch on what you and Isaac were talking about, though?
Please.
I would love to. So you were discussing how do you impart leadership skills to people of such varying and different backgrounds.
Exactly.
And I just wanted to add to the wonderful answer that Isaac gave and just say that if you wish to be a leader, you must understand at least a bit of everything, because you never know who you're going to be leading.
Yeah.
You do not know. I mean, I might be leading today a group of software engineers. I need to know a little about software. You know, I need to be able to say the things so that they know that we are on the same page and that communication is there. Or if I was or if you were teaching something to a group of house moms, are you going to have to know how to cook? Yes, sir, a little bit. And so these are the things that we try and instill. It also makes a nice window for us to show the value of every single person in a society. Because if you are only ever in your journalistic bubble, are you going to value the plumber? Not so much. You'll be grateful for him if he comes when you need him, but not think about him the rest of the time.
Exactly.
So if we understand each topic just a little bit and understand that each person who studies these things is valuable and important to our society and integrated, then not only does it make us better leaders, it makes us better people.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to add that. Now we can talk about your name.
Yes,
So to get into American Leadership Academy, you must apply. And you must go through Isaac, as well as Blessed Sarah, who is our director of admissions. She's marvelous. If you get a chance to meet her, you should. And Samantha, and of course Josh. But they are here in Uganda, and they're the boots on the ground for us. And they do so much hard work. So you apply, and then Isaac, would you mind explaining the rest of it for me?
Yes, thank you so much, Teacher Katie. Application to the American Leadership Academy is very simple. We do applications online, and I must mention that we do admissions every fall, September. So when the admissions are out, we normally send out links. People can always apply online. We'll be giving you our details to the different media platforms, and we'll be giving you our emails and a few brochures that will be shared. So everybody of every background, for as long as they are leaders or they wish to be leaders, for as long as you can understand English, for as long as you're able to use simple technology, for example, using a smartphone, you can do Zoom, you can do Google Meet. Those are some of the basics a person will need.
Okay.
Because as you've had, the lessons are conducted online. However, in between there, we get a chance of hosting some of our lecturers here for physical lessons. So it's blended, physical and virtual. So at a point in time, we receive visiting lecturers who come here on an exchange program. They come and do physical classes. So having the ability to do virtual the digital skills are needed for as long as you can have that and you can understand English.
No qualifications needed. I don't need to have a diploma, high school certificate or something like that.
Looking at how this course was designed, it was not designed for people who have got papers. It was basically designed for everybody who wishes to change, who wishes to advance the way they lead. So those are the qualifications. You can understand English, you can use the digital media.
Okay. How many, let me call them fellows, per cohort? Every time you get, how many people do you look at?
I will not be specific on the number,
Okay.
but because of the American standards, I will tell you that the lucky few who apply first are considered because they're not looking at how big the number is, but we're looking at how these people can be managed to make sure that everybody's reached. It's not about very big classes. As I've told you, have one-on-one engagements to make sure that people get the skills. So we are not very specific about the number, but we try to make sure that we get people who are manageable. Yeah, you know, the American standard of education is not about numbers. You get classes with very few people, but they are very standard people. So once the opportunity is out for admission, those people that apply first, once our directors tell us that this number will be manageable this time, we'll go with that, and the rest will go tending to the next intake. We keep them in record. So for the next intake, we start with those that did not go through last time.
Okay, that's good. Let me come to you, Lo. You are the Chief Finance Officer. First, tell us about the funding. How do we get this program running for the past 3 years and it's continuing? Who are our funders, and of course, what are the interests and things like that?
This is a great question because we are a very new program. We've only been up since COVID. And because we are very new, it takes a while to be able to get your feet under you and to get fundings flowing.
Exactly.
Up to this point, we have been relying on generous donations from benefactors who have been very kind. Jim Powell comes to mind.
Okay.
Yes.
Professor Jim Powell.
Yes, I do. I want to give a special thanks to him. He's done tremendous work for us, and I can't tell you how invaluable he has been. But we are currently in the works to, because we have now what's achieved nonprofit status in the US, which is very important.
Okay.
We can now start doing fundraisers. And so we will be doing dinners to fund it. I will be doing a 5K and a marathon that I will be promoting myself, and I'm super excited about that.
Yeah.
We will also be offering classes to children in high schools that are disadvantaged in our own state. And the government will assist us with money from that. So we will be mostly funded through donations, and then we will also be receiving the funding from helping disadvantaged people in our own area, which we are excited about. So
that's awesome. So is the American Leadership class based in Uganda here, or it's in the States? How large is it? What's the impact? How is it creating impact really?
Well, it is large, but as far as distance is concerned, especially, it's 2 worlds apart almost. It's the whole planet. But we've been making a small impact in Utah, in the Cultural Diversity Department at Utah Valley University. We do try our best to always be good community members and allow those around us to ask us questions, and then allow them the opportunity to take perhaps a course with us, or even offer them an opportunity to teach.
Oh, those people at home?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and so we are very open, and we try to, because as much as we love to be global leaders, it is important to always start leadership from where you are.
Exactly.
And where we are is Utah right now. And where I am right now is Uganda. So I will try and lead here. But so it is important for us to have a good public relations image. And so we do our best to do that. And Professor Sinjinja does a very good job. However, I'm hoping to sort of step in and take over that portion. He has so many He wears so many hats. He has so many balls in the air. So I'm hoping to be able to help in that way. Does that answer your question? I feel like I kind of went around about.
But how about in Africa? Is it only based in Uganda for now, or do you have other leadership classes in other African countries?
Well,
how is it looking
we
like?
are based in Uganda, but we have had students from Dominican Republic of the Congo, and we've had Kenyan students, and
Somalia.
Did we have Senegal?
Somalia.
Somalia, thank you. And so it's important, and we can't state this enough. We want everybody, if they can. We want to spread leadership. This is it. It's not for fame. It's not for. We don't have an agenda. It is 100%. We just want to give the skills to people who need them. Okay. That is all. We're not trying to make money off of anybody. We are just trying to keep moving forward. We do try our best to make sure that we are paying our teachers, because teachers are invaluable, and they deserve to be paid what they're worth. But as we keep moving forward, and as we evolve, and we find new revenue streams, because like the Bible says, you should have 7.
Exactly.
We have 2. We're working on the rest.
Before we go into the break, there's something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I wanted to add something brief about the question you just asked about where does the American Leadership Academy base. I'll tell you an experience from my own class. It was a global class because we had students from United States. Some of them are staying with Professor David Sejinja. We had students from Kenya, we had students from Somalia, we had students from Tanzania. So this being an online course, there is an opportunity and a window for every student from across the world to join. And even in the previous graduation we've had, we graduated students from Southern Sudan, students from Kenya. In the previous graduation, some of them made their way here for the graduation. So it's scattered everywhere across the world because it's digital, it's virtual. Yeah.
Even the graduation is virtual?
No, the graduation, we've had 2 graduations at Ndege University. The American Leadership Academy, Utah Valley University, and California State University, where this program comes from, they made an MOU with Ndege University to host the American Leadership Academy in Uganda. And on that note, I want to really thank the management of Ndege University for hosting us. They have always been very good partners. So we had our first graduation in 2022. That was at Ndege University Graduate School, and we're blessed to have teacher Katie, who still traveled from the United States of America to grace our occasion. Just last week on Friday, we had our second graduation, again at the same place, and we're blessed to have the former Katikkiro of Uganda, Oweekitiibwa Joseph Mulwanya Mulise Mwogere, who was the chief guest. Yeah.
He's one of our guests here.
Yeah.
He has been with us for a while. So
he's our great mentor, and we want to thank him so much. He has moved with us, and he's supporting us in so many ways. He has so many experiences with him.
Before you delve into a break, because I may not have you here again, Isaac, just some of the last message that you want a Ugandan to understand or comprehend or to take away from the entire discussion we've had in this first hour.
Thank you so much. I would ask each and every Ugandan to utilize each and every opportunity that is presented to better themselves. Regardless of where they come from, regardless of what they do, they should utilize each opportunity that comes their way to better how they live, to better how they work, to better how they connect with people. There are so many opportunities in the community. There are so many opportunities online. And if fully utilized, they can transform somebody and get a better version of themselves. I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, but I want to tell you, through the mentorship, good utilization of opportunities, I'm able to do what I do. I'll encourage leaders at every level to come and enroll in such courses to make them better, to make them connect to people in different communities. This is a global class. You have your classmate as a Utah citizen, a citizen in Kenya, a citizen across the world. So there is an opportunity to share ideas from a wider perspective. So let's grab these opportunities, and when we are enrolled on such courses, let's be serious, because it's one thing to be admitted and it's one thing to learn. So, and once you learn, it will be seen in what you do, because you can go there, train through the course, graduate, but wait for you in the community and you're nowhere to be seen. So my appeal to everybody is, please enroll in these courses, make good use of this chance, and try to better yourselves. We shall transform our country. You will understand that there's so many challenges we have in Uganda is not because we don't have resources, it's because of management and leadership. Resources are so many and everywhere, the country is rich, but how we best manage resources is what brings us issues. So an opportunity being provided for leaders in homes, in organizations, in the community, to try better and improve the way we deal with leadership and our community affairs is a great opportunity which we're supposed to grab.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Isaac Katava. It's just 5 minutes to the top of the hour. We are coming into the end of this particular session. I've been with Isaac and, of course, Miss Katie Lowe. Katie Lowe is still here, but we'll go for a break. When we come back, I'm going to be joined by Miss Brooklyn James, who is also the Deputy Chief of Finances right there at the American Leadership Academy. That and much more. We're going to be talking about a lot of issues now. We talked about the American Leadership Academy. Now we delve into the current affairs, of course. How practical can these leaders be in their communities, and of course some of other community issues that we have as a country. How can we have a different approach from people from a different setting or a different world to try to give us maybe some knowledge or insights on how better they have been, and of course how different Ugandans can take or can do their job. My name is Edgar Matthew Karahanga. This is Digitalk TV. Let's go for a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting, thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704111720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings. Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital.
Looking for a pair of shoes? Les Hub Stores has a wide range of selection for unisex footwear. We have the best quality of all brands at pocket-friendly prices, and we make deliveries countrywide. Just place your order or reach us on 0772 08 0090. You can also check up at Les Hub Stores on all our social media platforms. Les Hub, craft your own footprints.
Go to the church, though.
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now, Bikoda. Did you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Welcome back from that short commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. You're still tuning into the Mighty Drive Show, and of course we're into the second and final hour of the show. It's exactly 2 minutes past the top of the hour, so thank you so much for those who are sending in their messages. Thank you so much. I'll be reading them subsequently as we continue the program. And of course, I'm still with Miss Katie Lowe, who is the Chief Financial Officer at the American Leadership Class. I have been joined by Miss Brooklyn James, who is the assistant of Miss Lowe here, and of course we're going to be talking about a lot of things. But before we even delve into that conversation, allow me to welcome you, Miss James. You're welcome.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm very good. I'm excited to be here.
Okay.
A little nervous, but excited.
Yeah, that was okay. Miss Brooklyn, Miss James, just for those people who don't know you, who is Miss Brooklyn James?
I'm still figuring that out. I am studying at university right now. Not Utah Valley, it's called Weber State. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm not the best example because I am skipping my classes to be here. Stay in school, it's very important. But my mom always says that where we live, our state is a bit of a bubble. So if I can go out and explore the world, that I should take that opportunity. So when Katie told me about this trip, I had no hesitation. I immediately told her I wanted to go. And it's been a great experience.
How long have you been here?
Just over a week. Yes.
Is it your first time in Africa?
It is. It's my first time leaving the U.S.
Oh.
Yes.
So just tell me about how you finding Uganda so far.
It's beautiful. I love everything about it. We were out in the country, and you guys grow like just about everything. It's amazing. We can't grow nearly as many foods back home.
In Uganda, you can just throw a seed anywhere and it will blossom into something. So you came when it was a heat wave. We're having a heat
Oh,
wave.
yes.
Did you feel the heat or?
Yes. At home, I believe it's snowing right now. So it's very, very cold. So coming here was a little bit of a shock. We've been sweating a lot.
Okay, let me come to you, Ms. Lowe. Let's talk about, before we even leave this issue of the American leadership class, let's first talk about the academic sessions. What exactly, you hinted on it, you talked about business accounting and some of the courses there, but are these the academic sessions that these people are trained in, or do you want to be more specific?
Could you clarify just a little bit? Are you asking if the lecturer is trained in these things, or if it's something the student wants to be trained in?
You know, if the curriculum, the lecture is designed to train, because I want to know the academic sessions, what do these people, what do these leaders get to be equipped in specifically?
Oh, okay, thank you. I appreciate the clarity there, because that's two very different questions. So specifically, you will be trained in conflict resolution, which is vital with communication. You'll be trained in basic communication skills, which you may think when you think about communication as just speaking, yes? But we teach how to write a good paper, a paper that will be seen by many people in many countries, the standards that those must be in to be accepted or taken seriously, which is vital because Ugandans have a tremendous ability for taking in information and for being able to talk about it. But to write it down, we have work. Yes. And so we're teaching a lot of writing skills with that. We are also teaching, when Isaac was discussing what you need to be able to get into American leadership class, we are hoping in the near future to, at the very beginning of the course, at the very beginning of the cohort, to have a quick lesson on how to use Google Classroom and how to use all of the things that we will be using, how to use Zoom, how to use all of these things. Because we realized in the last 2 times that some people were falling away just because they couldn't understand the technology. And so we figure if we start that early, we can have even more people come and we can help more people. So we will be teaching basic computing skills in that way. We also teach a lot of humanitarian things as far as, I'm terribly sorry, as far as psychology of a person. Also respect. Because it's easy to understand respect in your world. Yeah. But if you go to Japan, their understanding of respect is different.
Very, very true.
Yes.
What you may not find offensive here can be offensive there.
Exactly. Yeah. And we discuss at great length why those things happen. Again, teaching is not telling. Teaching is teaching. This means that if you have questions in class, and I'm hoping many of your viewers join us because we would love to have you, I'd love to see you. If you have questions, ask them. We really want people to ask us questions as we go because odds are good. If you have a question, so does everybody else. So ask it. Use your voice. We want to hear about it.
Okay. Speaking of asking, let me also ask you. So there are some concerns, or let me not call them concerns, but there are some issues which in Uganda may not be a bit maybe allowed or normalized, and yet in your world these issues have been normalized. And okay to have conversations with them. For example, the issues of minorities, people of same-sex relationships. When you're designing these courses, are those issues thought about? Do you guys think about it or something like that?
Absolutely. 1000%. As for me, I am an advocate, especially for same-sex marriage and for equality amongst men and women, for religious equality, for social equality, for equality. If one group doesn't have it, nobody has it. It's the same with freedom. If one group doesn't have it, nobody has it. And this needs to be understood. Because if one group thinks they are equal, but they have a group under them, how are they equal? They are not. And this is true. Especially for me and issues of gender and understanding these things, they are very important to me. Because I find that in the US, those are the people who are most disadvantaged right now. Those are the people who are being oppressed. They are the people where my energy and my use and my leadership skills will benefit the most. I am openly for it's called the LGBTQ plus community. Yes. Would you like me to tell you what the acronym means? Okay. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, LGBTQ, trans, queer, and plus means everybody else, and everybody else in the world. This is the group that has the most difficult time in our country at this moment. And so at this moment, I must be the leader that is necessary for this moment. And so I will. And I will support, and I will honor, and I will more than anything respect those people. Because that is the thing that is hardest.
Now, imagine, because now it's also one of the biggest problems here in Uganda today, and it is dubbed illegal.
Yes.
Don't you fear for your work or something like that if you remain someone who is okay with it, or an advocate, as you say?
Let me ask you a question with that. Do you let fear decide what you're going to do?
To some extent.
On the roads, I do. Yes, on the roads, I let fear decide what to do. But when it comes to what is right and what I know to be right as a human who respects all humans, fear will never tell me what to do. And yes, I recognize that this puts me in a difficult position from time to time. But I would rather be in that difficult position and stand up for the things that I believe in than to just remain quiet and let it continue. This is what being a leader is. This is the heart and soul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's when you're tested, really. That's when the thick skin has to come out.
Yeah.
Miss James, are you a leader in your world? In your world, yeah, let me use that word. Are you a leader, and how are you doing this?
I definitely try to be. At my job, I am a leader over the kids my age, and I'm the oldest child, so I try to set an example for my siblings and show them like mistakes that I have made and what to do to prevent that.
Okay. But okay, because here in Uganda, when you're a girl, it becomes a bit difficult.
It
How
is.
is it, you being a young girl, trying to be a leader first for your family, your siblings, but also trying to be a leader in your community? How is it? How is the process going so far?
I don't think it's as difficult home as it is here, but there is I do have a hard time being seen as an authority. A lot of people kind of dismiss me. They come up to me at my job and they ask who is in charge, and when I say it's me, a lot of times they're very shocked. But I'd like to think that I'm fairly competent and that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, they look at you and they're like, oh, you're the one.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's responsible. Yeah. Okay. So that's the main challenge that you face.
Yes, a lot of people don't take me seriously at first. They don't think that I can be in charge.
But can you really be in charge?
I think so. I think I have the skills.
Because sometimes some people may look down at you, but yet, yes, really you do not have the ability. But because as you say, it's more of they see the person of you, then they judge that.
Yes.
Okay. Let me come back to you, Ms. Law. You are an expert in conflict resolution.
Yes, sir.
And a problem that has been disturbing Africa up to date, from the past up to now, has been a problem of conflict. Fighting. As we're speaking today, there is fighting in Sudan. 2 people are fighting for what I may call a very myopic reason. There are no grounds for fighting. It's just 2 individuals who have egos trying to fight to see who stays the strongest. a stone throw away from Uganda today in Congo, our neighboring country. Some people are calling it a genocide that is going on there. And it's a question that is not only affecting us, but even Europe. You know what is happening between Israel and Gaza, what's happening between Ukraine and Russia. Is there a reason, or are there reasons why we are experiencing such conflict at such a time, before even delving into how we can solve that particular conflict? Do you think there is a reason for a common denominator for all these kind of aggressions that we're seeing in the country, the world today?
I do. And I think it is important to address it. There is a lot of conflict today because, like it or not, the US is kind of the leader. People look to the US to see, because we've had the longest running democracy, which is huge, and one of the major reasons I love my country. So when people look at the US, we have a little bit of clout.
Yeah, you're the epitome of democracy.
Exactly, we are the epitome of democracy. And when we elected the wrong person, it gave validity to bad leaders. It gave them strength and courage to be the bad leaders they are. They felt like they no longer had to be worried about the US because we elected the wrong person. And so when this happened, all those leaders who have always been inadequate, bad leaders, decided to really seize power because the US is no longer a problem. I do not wish to say that all the world's ills are based on this, because everybody has problems. Everybody makes poor choices. There are bad leaders everywhere. But I think because it is a huge upset, I think that has a little something to do with it. And I'm sorry. But the US will always try to be accountable when we have good leaders. And right now we do. We fixed it, but the damage is still done. Not yet. Things. Oh, don't tell me. Pray for us, please. Pray for us. But
so it was that lapse or that opportunity of a lapse in leadership that you had that has
empowered
other
bad leaders. I think they thought, hey, he's able to do this. Why not me? And that's not okay.
Okay. So how do we deal with this question, especially for a continent that has been ravaged by war for a while, like Africa? Every other time there's always a war going on. There's always a secession going on. There's always something at least coming up. How do you think we can deal with this particular crisis?
That is a hard question. And I am one person. But we need to renew our understanding of each other. We need to stop separating. We need to stop saying this group is better than this group. We have got to stop. Because if we continue to oppress anyone, then we are going to continue to have uprisings here. We're going to continue to not be together enough to oust a bad leader. Because if we do not have everyone's support, how do you get rid of a bad leader? You must have everyone's support. That means everyone, not just everyone you think matters. It means everyone. If we are to have real conflict resolution, we must have people in power who wish to stop the conflicts instead of start new ones. It is easy to keep power. It is hard to take it back. And of that, we know well. But I think the solution here is education. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a teacher. But the solution here is education and self-love. When you know the value of you, when you know the power of who you are, when you know that your ideas, your individuality, what you think, what you feel, all those things are unique to you. And the world needs you. The world needs your perspective. The world needs the things that you have to offer, and you need to find a way to share it.
One can say that, for example, in the setting here, you talk a lot and you can even lose your life.
Yes.
Yeah, if you know who you are, if you even lose your life in case you try to advocate, how do you advise a human being like that one?
I advise you like this. Your life is valuable, first and foremost. Do not put yourself in a position that you are not prepared for. Make sure that you know your rights. Make sure that you know know where you are. If you are deciding to use your voice in a way that will cause problems, make sure mom knows where you are. Make sure that many people are aware of what you're doing. And above all, videotape everything. Because, yes, because people, it's so easy to get caught up in the he said, she said. It's so easy to say, hey, they said this, now they must go to jail. And if you have no evidence, then you go to jail. And this is unjust. We need to focus on justice around the world. But do not put yourself in a position that you are not prepared for. But if you find yourself in that position, use your voice. It is the only voice you have, and it's the only way to make real change sometimes. I do not wish any harm on anyone, but sometimes a little harm for me prevents a greater harm for many. And this is difficult. And honestly, I have no right to ask you any of that, because it's asking you to put yourself in danger, and that is not something I have the right to do. But I just want you to know that I will always choose to do the hard thing. And if I can help, I will. And I'm here today to speak to you because I wanted to make sure the world knows that.
Thank you so much, Laura. You're still tuned into the Mighty Drive Show, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Edgar Matthew Karahang. I'm still with Miss Brooklyn James and, of course, Miss Katie Law. Law, you mentioned something that is that was touching.
Oh, thank you.
I don't think it was really touching a lot. But let's also delve into another conversation of the money. I know many people look at money as some people call it the root of all evil, and others may call it the root of all good. Depending on the scripture reading. But for leaders to be really impactful in their work, for leaders to matter, there has to be a bit of money. And the money question in Uganda is still, not only in Uganda, but in the world, money is never enough, or sometimes some people don't even have the little that they can spend. How do you think a leader can be impactful, but with the most minimum of resources? And before even I ask you about how do you think we can lobby for resources as leaders, how do you think someone can be impactful in their community, in their world, without even having the money yet?
That is an excellent question, and I'm so glad you asked, because that means that the people who are on the streets right now can make an impact. And I love that you're bringing that out. One thing you can do is watch the show, because it's fantastic. It's a good, it's an excellent way to become informed, and it's an excellent resource, and it is free, so that is great. But things that you can do with very little money. Well, it always starts at home. Teach your children. Teach your children right from wrong. Teach your children to be leaders. Teach your children to be impactful. Then go out to your community and just let people know where you stand on things. And if you learn to speak, if you learn to be able to be a good orator or speaker, you can make an impact from just about anywhere. But be respectful. Do not be one of these people who goes onto the street corner, puts down a box, stands on it, and tells everybody what to do. This is not good leadership. This is not going to do much. People tend to ignore that. But talk to your friends, and then network. Network. Know as many people as you can. Keep in touch with them. And as your network grows and blooms, you'll find more and more people who are interested in the same things you are and want to support you in that. And then when that community starts to come together, create a basis of simple government. Make sure that you're writing down minutes. Make sure that your community group there, that they are transparent in the money and the fundraising. Because at that point, there will be money in fundraising. Because you have so many who, I can't remember who said it, but there is a quote that says there are two things that can move a man. Similar ideas and fear. Yeah, and you have similar ideas. You can move men. So create communities that are well informed, that are going out and doing well. Create communities that are very careful with their money and put it where it is most needed. Create communities that can build each other up instead of tearing each other down. Create neighborhood watches. I'm usually not so for that, but it seems like something that could be beneficial here, where you all watch out for each other. Build these communities, these little communities, and from there, you will be amazed at how quickly your community will be wanted by everyone. And as it flourishes and as it grows and becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, it is the slow route. Money's the fast route. It is the slow route, but it is the sustainable route. It will be forever if you can make these things happen. It is so much more important to have passion and understanding of your rights than it is to have money any day of the week. However, I will admit, money isn't everything unless you don't have any. Then it is everything. So I do not wish to downplay the importance, but...
I'm going to talk about, because what you're saying is actually, it used to be here, the communal surveillance, working together, looking out for each other.
Yes.
I want to ask what happened, because you are the psychologist, you should know. But before, let me come to you. Why I ask you, Ms. James, is because you're a young person. And many people who watch our TV here, it has been designed for young people to try to create a new breed of young people who think differently. So as young people based in Utah, United States, are there some ways that you look out for resources or for money as a young person that you think a young person watching you here can adapt? Maybe are there things you do to get, even if it's not a lot of money, but to have some money in your pocket as an individual, as a young person? Are there ways you can share with a Ugandan young person like you watching you today?
Well, I think the internet is a great resource. There's so much more information now that we can find than ever before. So there's always little projects that you can find here and there, ways to help out your neighborhood. My neighborhood recently started this little group online that you can use to find neighbors who maybe need help with stuff. We recently had to remove some of the trees in our yard, and we reached out to our neighbors, and they came and helped us, and we were able to get to know some of them and build a community, and I don't think that would have ever happened without the internet.
True, very true. So they should optimize the use of the internet.
Yes.
Okay, that means laziness should not be really accepted, because many young people just go on social media to just watch videos and things like that. So maybe use it in a rather constructive manner.
Yes. There's a time for fun, but if it's used just for that, it's maybe a little dangerous.
Exactly. Let me come back to Ms. Law. You were mentioning that people are detached. That's what I try to summarize. They are no longer for each other. It's about me, my family, and my stomach. Yesterday, in the past, it used to be for God and for all of us.
Yes.
How did you get here as a people to be really lonely at the end of the day? Because I feel it's lonely.
It's very lonely. We have created a world of hyper-individuality. We have decided that somebody who can do it all themselves is the most important person. And that is so foolish. Nobody can do it all on their own without stepping on somebody or taking advantage of somebody. This is foolish. And if you think you can do it all on your own, rethink, because you can't. There's a big reason why I brought my beautiful niece here today. I cannot do this without her. This trip is happening because of her, because she remembers things like to tell me to take my pills. I'm so grateful for her. And if I didn't have her, if I tried to do it all on my own, I might have more issues. And I'm so glad that I can rely on her. I do want to make a note. Many people fear relying on other people. They're afraid they're going to get taken advantage of. Yeah. This is very common. And you might. I don't want a kid here. People get taken advantage of all the time. But my question is, do you want to be somebody who does everything on their own, comes all in, and becomes lonely, but it's never taken advantage of? Or do you want to take the risk? Once in a while, you might get taken advantage of. And you know, I have. I get taken advantage of because I'm very, very open and excited to help wherever I can. And so, yeah, sometimes I get taken advantage of.
Many times, good people will be taken advantage of.
Absolutely. It's just part of it. But when you decide to be a good person, when you decide to be a helper, you know that's going to happen. And when it does, that's okay. You just go ahead and you put that aside. You forgive because they deserve it. Whatever they do to you, they still need to be forgiven. It's just part of it. And then you move forward, knowing that, hey, that was the one time. And then you move forward. Because does that one person taking advantage of me, does that one instance make everything else I did nothing? No. I'm still very valuable. And yeah, I got taken advantage of. And that's not my fault.
Yeah, it was not about you, it's about them.
It's about them. And so you forgive them, you pray for them, you hope they figure it out, but you move on. No, you might be taken advantage of, but you might. That's the long and short. It's like,
You've just given them into the fire. You should burn. So how do we raise money as young leaders? Are there some ideas that you have that have helped in your setting, in your world, that you think we can relate to as Ugandans here to be able to raise resources for ourselves?
That is difficult. I'm not 100% sure what the needs are for an average person in Uganda. But take, for instance, in US, if we need somebody to watch our children, we hire a babysitter who's usually a young person. You know, and so being responsible and resourceful, well, you can always get those positions. Being an apprentice, that's a good thing to do. Like if you know a plumber and they might need help, then go and help the plumber. If you know a farmer who might need a little help, odd jobs are a great way to make a little bit of money. But you have to learn skills. And so every time that you try something different, you learn something different, you become more and more marketable. So if Brooklyn went out today and she decided she was going to go and help maybe one of her neighbors learn, or let's say garden. She's going to plant some tomatoes. She goes and she helps. And this is just for free. But now she knows how to plant tomatoes. And she finds out later that a local farmer has fallen ill and they plant tomatoes. She can then say, hey, I know how to plant tomatoes. May I come and help you for a little bit of money? And they will probably say yes. And reaching out like that, showing that community spirit, it makes people feel needed and heard. So not only is this a good way to make a little bit of money, but it's a good way to build community and to build your own skill set. But I would like to echo Brooklyn. The internet's great for that kind of thing. Do your best to learn as much as you can about it. And I am old, so I'm not great at the internet. So this question is a little bit better for Brooklyn because she is young and knows how all of this works a little bit better than I do. But yeah, it's important to know where your limits are. And I'm afraid that's one of my limits.
I have a question here from a gentleman who's watching us from San Francisco, California, Mr. Kamoga Franklin Gooding. Thank you so much for tuning in. He reminds me to ask you about the grading system.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Thank you so much, Frank.
Yes, thank you, Frank.
So how do you grade? How are the students graded at the end of the program?
At the end of the program, they get a grade point average. And it's the same as the US standards. So a 4.0 is perfect. You did perfect. Almost nobody gets a 4.0. This is a very, very difficult thing to do. But every assignment that we do, every meeting that we come to is marked. Like if we take attendance, and if you are in attendance, you get a certain amount of points. If you make comments and things like that, that's part of it. That's part of being part of the community. And so there are points given for attendance for those types of things. And then there are points given for projects, and there are points given for papers that are written. And at the end, we will grade all of them, And when we assign the project or assign the paper, we will say how many points are possible. It's usually something like 25. And then we will add up all of those scores, and then we will tell you what your GPA is. You can move it up or down. It works very much like the American system, generally. And teacher Mimi is phenomenal with that. And I'm going to give her a big shout out because we love her so much, and I'm so glad I don't have to do that part. So, yeah. I hope that cleared it up, Frank.
Yeah, I think it did. You were quite elaborate about it. So we also have young leaders or leaders who go through your program, and they have innovations that they have in their mind, or they have already been innovating. Are there ways, as the American Leadership Academy, you support these innovations after they are done? Is there any, or what I'm trying to ask is maybe after the program, so what?
This is great. I am very much enjoying this. So after you graduate, this is the most important thing. This is the reason we do it. Because, I mean, we have this program, we're not really making any money off of it. Why do we do it? It's for after the program. After the program, it is time to use your skills. It is time to decide what the innovation is that you want to bring into the world and start taking small steps to achieve it. And taking those small steps could be anything from, let's say that you have an idea for an invention. And this is difficult. It is difficult to find manufacturing. It's difficult to do your patenting. I mean, it is difficult. So how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You start small and you start building. Don't eat elephant, by the way. That would be so sad. But you start small. You take a step. You say, okay, this is the thing that I would like to accomplish. So what's something I can do today to move that forward? And then the next day, if you accomplish it, you say, okay, what can I do today to move that forward? And they can be small. They can be things like brainstorming. They can be things like write a speech and then give it to yourself. Small things, little things that build and build and build until that elephant is completely gone. It's also so important to understand that sometimes you get lucky, but luck is made by people who are prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared for that moment. You may not get it, you may get it, but if there is a moment where you have put yourself in a position where other people can really understand your idea, your invention, what you want to bring to the world, if you put yourself in places where other people can communicate with you about that, you will find community, you will find support, and then you can start moving forward in whatever it is you are choosing to do. So take little steps, but know that each step is important, because without it, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's the small steps that really become big. Okay, maybe just a small detail you forgot to highlight. Are there ways that you're supporting these young people apart from the leadership? After the leadership, are you supporting them in any way to try to blossom their ideas?
Oh, I understand. Forgive me. For the most part, we try to keep our alumni close. We love our alumni, especially our first class. Not just because of Isaac, although he is wonderful, but I have many dear friends who are in that first class. And the second class, I have many friends. We support as best as we can as far as we have an alumni group that we all talk about often. And we have, oftentimes Teacher Mimi will bring stuff up to the alumni group, make sure that they know what's going on so that they can attend events, so they can continue to be a part of American Leadership class family. We love hearing from our students, past and present. So whatever we can do, we will do to help. Often, for the most part though, because we are a nonprofit, we cannot often use financial help. But whatever we have to offer, we do try to do. Because it's important to keep our alumni moving.
And the support is not really always about the money, but there's mentorship,
yes,
there's advice, there's guidance,
well, yes,
a lot of things. Yeah. Let me come to you, and I don't know if I'm going to put you on the spot, Miss James.
Okay.
Do you have a dream for the world? A vision as a young leader? Because I'm thinking you are a young leader. Do you have a dream for the world that you think you would love to share with us today?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would like there to be more understanding among everybody. I don't know about here, everyone's so friendly, so maybe, yes, sorry. maybe it's just a US thing, but everybody like cares more about themselves. When they're out and about, they're only focused on them and like their phones, and they're not looking for opportunities to reach out to somebody or say hi to people in passing. And it kind of puts you in your own world to where you don't really understand what somebody's going through. So when you see somebody who's maybe having a rough day, they seem a little short with you, it's a lot harder to see that they are a good person and they're just having an off day. And I wish we could look at each other and see more than just that off day. Mm-hmm. They didn't say thank you to me. Oh, they're so rude.
So what you're trying to say is you put the character or the trait are different from the person. So you differentiate them. You look at the person themselves. Not their action does not define them.
Yes.
Wow, that's good. That's good. That's
thank you. It felt a little wordy.
That was beautiful.
It's actually good because when you look at it, in a world where everybody looks at you and they judge you for what you've done, sometimes it's always beautiful when someone puts the mistake away from the person. And it's not so often done, especially here. People just take you. Like, but this one mistake does not define me. I am away from that mistake. It can be maybe a moment of weakness, right? Okay, thank you so much, Miss James. Let me come to you, Katie Law. How sustainable do you think this program is going to be? The American Leadership Academy. It's been two cohorts so far. That means there should be a big vision. How do you look at the sustainability of the American Leadership Academy stroke class and its impact throughout the years to come?
Well, first thing, that was an amazing answer, and I'm so proud of my niece. Isn't she marvelous? I love her so much. But so as far as sustainability goes, we came up with a rather, I think it was Tim, who came up with just a very low-cost way to do this. And it's marvelous because it doesn't cost much at all to do this, except for, to fly to Uganda. That's kind of it. And so because it is so low cost for us, we could do it forever. Even if it's just us funding it, we could do it forever. It's sustainable. And the best part is each year, it becomes more and more self-sufficient. Wow. It's fantastic. I can't imagine it not being completely and utterly sustainable in 3 years. And we're here for life. You guys are stuck with us. Sorry about that.
That's good because imagine with such a vision and you're impacting such lives for the next 20 years. Do you imagine the impact that you have created, the young leaders that would have stemmed up? I think it would be great, right?
Oh, I think it'll be marvelous. But let's be very clear. All I did was teach you a class. It's your strength that's going to make you a leader. And I am not going to take credit for that. I will take credit for an understanding of things that were not understood, but the people here and the people we teach, it's their strength, it's their determination, and it's their will of character that is going to really change the world. So I'm not going to say that our school is making an impact. I'm going to say that our alumni are making an impact.
Because it's about them.
It is always about them. It is not about us.
In chemistry, they used to say it's now the time for a litmus test. Will it turn blue or will it turn red?
Exactly. We're a little nervous.
We've done everything, so please turn red.
It's like, oh, please, come on.
Still with and Brooklyn James from the American Leadership in Academy Stroke class. We're still talking about this particular thing that they've been doing, the cohort, the trainings, and of course the different alumni that have been trained in this particular program. It's been 2 years down the road, and of course she says they still have a vision for a long time to come. So many leaders, they believe, will be empowered through the American Leadership class. I think every cohort, every program starts in September of that year. Yeah, so a few months from now, you can be able to apply for this particular leadership class, and you'll be able to join in there. before we delve into another conversation, I also have a question for you, and this in terms of the upcoming projects, programs or initiatives from your organization or your academy. Are there some upcoming things that you'd like to highlight about, or programs or initiatives that you think Ugandans should know?
Oh, that's difficult because we have so many fun things happening. We just had our latest graduation, but we will have another one next year.
Last week, right?
That was last week, and it was marvelous. Oh, they put together such a... And our student leaders did the entire thing. It was, and we had beautiful catering. They did such an amazing job. I hope people look that one up because it was an impressive feat of organization. They did a terrific job. But most of what we do is just doing our classes. But when we start in September, we are super excited to start with that first class. We also have many different dignitaries even coming in to teach specific classes. That's part of it. It's part of, we have open, if we meet somebody who happens to be really, really good at business, we invite them to come and teach a class so that you can get the benefit of many different teachers. And this is something we really love and highlight and are excited about. We are excited about getting our fundraising up and running, but most of that will be done in Utah. But as we grow, we are starting to have a better web presence, because right now our web presence isn't great. But I'm actually getting my daughter involved, and she's going to help us get our web presence up. So be looking for that. We are getting. We have a Facebook page. We're working on getting our what are they called? Brooklyn? No, all the platforms, the social platforms.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter.
All those good things. Thank you, Brooklyn. See why I need her? We're hoping to have all these things up and running, and I'm super grateful for my daughter for giving us a hand with all of this, because again, we are old, and I can. That's when you know the value of giving. We are a community. So,
is there anything else apart from that?
As long as I can just express my real gratitude for David and Tim and Mimi and Jim Powell and all our wonderful students, just all of them. You saw Rachel here. She was one of our students. She let us stay with her, and we had just a marvelous time. I don't know what I did to deserve all of this, but I'm so glad I did it.
We allow maybe just to also understand, we are coming to the end of this particular program, but before you even leave, are you working with the U.S. mission in Uganda in any way as the American leadership class? Because when I hear American, so maybe I'm just asking, is there a way that you work with the U.S. mission in Uganda?
Actually, I don't think so. I think it's a good idea, though. I think I'm going to reach out and see if we can make a connection, because I think that's an excellent idea. I'm so glad I came in just for another good idea.
Because if you're American leadership class,
we should be associated with them.
Buy the pens or something.
Oh. Okay, I'm going to ask them that. I'm going to go and I'm going to ask them that.
It was a pleasure having you ladies today.
Oh, wonderful.
It was really interesting conversation with you people. But before you leave, is it okay if you just give us some of your parting shots, your last remarks to the people out there watching?
I just want to say I'm so glad to be here. It's been an amazing opportunity, wonderful experience. Everybody here is so nice, and you live in such a beautiful place. And I just want to say, being a leader is hard. It comes with all of its challenges, but it's not anything that any of us can't overcome.
Okay. Normally, as we're finishing, you always give us or tell us something interesting or fun. Fun factor about yourself. Anything is interesting. It can be interesting to you and not interesting to us, as long as it's interesting to you. Anything interesting about yourself?
Ooh. Are you drawing a blank?
Yes.
May I give her an interesting fact about her?
Yes, please.
You have the moral authority.
An interesting fact about Brooklyn is that not only is she super capable and super incredible orator and is amazing, but Brooklyn is extremely fashionable. At home, everybody wants to look like Brooklyn because she is so fashionable. She has the nicest tops and the prettiest skirts, but it's not just that, but she holds herself with grace. And so I keep telling her she should be a model.
Yeah. The fashionista. That's good.
But she's also not selfish or greedy with it. She just likes it. Yeah. She's marvelous.
That's
like
fun.
that.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because for me it sounds braggy.
It's actually fun. We also have a fashionista here.
Yes.
She's the lady on camera. When she wakes up on the right side of the bed, she's on point.
Oh, she's on point tonight.
Even today, I think she woke up on the right side of the bed. All right, Miss Katie Lowe, just give us your parting shots, if you can.
My parting words are, I love you. I am grateful to be here. It is so easy to love Uganda. To love Uganda is to set foot here. You just love it. It's fantastic. And if nothing else, eat a pineapple here. Oh my goodness, it's the best.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's ruined American pineapple for me. I will never be able to eat American pineapple again. But something interesting?
Yes, please.
So that picture that was in the advert was, I don't have any pictures of me alone. Like almost none. I don't know why, I just don't. And so I had to go way back to almost a year ago when, do you know Bollywood?
Yes.
The dance? I'm a Bollywood dancer in Utah. Yeah, me and my daughters dance Bollywood. And so that's what we dress up when we have our tikka and we do our bindi and everything so that we can go and perform at companies and things like that. And that was the only picture I could find where I was alone. And so I send it in and I'm just like, oh, I don't look anything like that. But yeah, there you go. That's
Thank you so much, ladies. I won't ask Isaac Katava for his fun moment, but I think he also has. So those who meet him privately will be able to know. Thank you so much, Isaac. Thank you so much, Miss James, and of course, thank you so much, Miss Lowe. It was a privilege having you guys on the show. Thank you so much, Teddy Tenjo, Nabukera, who was on camera, and of course, the entire productions team. There is a gentleman called Mr. Mokose Arnold Anthony, and of course, there is a gentleman called Mr. Besije. Thank you so much for working in the productions. My name is Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. It's always a pleasure having you right here. Please do follow me on my social media platforms at Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. That is on Facebook, Twitter, or X. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Snapchat. I'm just on Facebook and Twitter. Old school. Thank you so much. We shall meet tomorrow. Tomorrow is a Woman Crush Wednesday. The ladies come to join us here on set, and of course they have a conversation with you from 8 to 10 a.m. Thank you so much from the entire team. God bless you, and God bless Uganda.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.